Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Raleigh, and I had the honor to meet Sam while I worked at Yeti Cycles. So had been with Yeti for a lot of years, and I always made it a point to go in the back of the warehouse and hang out with the warehouse guys, because don't tell anyone who works on the carpet up front, the warehouse guys are the most fun. It took me a little bit of time to actually realize who Sam was. There's another kid there, similar height, tall, about 19 years old, and he had the nickname of B-Titty. And the two looked very similar, but I never saw them at the same time. I'd always see one in passing. And then I remember one day I went to the back and I saw both of them there, and I had to give them a double take. I was like, "Are you guys twins? There's two of you?" And so then I met A-Cup, aka Sam. So I got to know Sam with all my frequent visits to the warehouse, probably me procrastinating on my other work, and developed a bit of a relationship, kind of like a little brother relationship. I used to tease him about kissing girls and if he or what bike races he had coming up. And while I didn't get to know him as well as many of the other warehouse guys at that time, kind of my relationship with Sam grew after I found out that he was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. So after I found out, it was November of 2019, I was on my way out to visit my family for the holidays and did a run by Children's Hospital with my friend Jeanette, who was here earlier, and we snuck in some Nerf guns and candy, lots of candy, and high-fived them, and I got to meet Kelly and Beth and Jay, and that kind of, kicked off of, a year or so of, kind of sporadic back and forth, checking in with Sam, seeing how he was doing. Last November, I got, the same week, a voicemail from Beth, and then I got a phone call from Sam, and I was able to pick up the phone, and without him kind of spilling of like what his actual news was, he had this idea he wanted to share with me, and that's kind of what he had texted me about. I had this really cool idea, Sarah, I want to tell you about it. So he shared with me this idea for a video, and so I know that there are some references made, and there's the yellow jersey, so I just want to share a little bit about what that's all about. The idea to make a mountain bike video with incredible mountain bikers that are woven together by a yellow jersey. So yellow represents sarcoma, like pink represents breast cancer, and that was his idea, was to create, a Shred It, because he loved mountain biking so much. He was so passionate about it, but to underline all of that is to bring more awareness to Ewing sarcoma. So that began what I thought of as my weekly Friday night dates with Sam. So I always like to schedule Friday night because I don't have anything else going on, and we would always FaceTime, and kind of for several weeks there, we built out the concept of what he wanted to bring into fruition, and I really encouraged him to like dream bigger. And, what do you want this, yellow jersey to look like? At first he said, "Oh, this could be a t-shirt." And I said, "No, draw me what you want to see." And so he sketched it out on a piece of paper, sent it to me. We got it with the help of Yeti Cycles and their vendors, created the jersey that you guys see framed over there. And so then next I was like, "Well, who do you want to see in your video?" He gave me a very tall order. I'm usually very confident that I can make anything happen. But his order was so tall and included some of the best mountain bikers in the world. So for those who are familiar with with some of the riders out there, we have Brandon Semenuk and R-Dog and Jared Graves and Cody Kelly and Richie Rude, and some phenomenal riders that he had looked up to for so long and was very inspired by. So we set out to work. I unapologetically sent a ton of emails. I told him just the DM everyone. I was like, we'll get them at all angles, all of them. And we did, even Brandon Semenuk. So as, our project, continued to transpire, Sam's, health was beginning to decline. But throughout all of it, what was always so impressive to me was his ability to be positive and to think. He would apologize to me. He would say, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to work on it this week. It hasn't been the best week. And I would tell him, like, don't worry, this is what you have me for. I'm your workhorse. Like, we're gonna bring your vision to life. And we are. So we were able to film with Sam at Yeti with all of his warehouse crew about a month ago. And then we had a day of filming at home with the family. And the tributes and the videos that we're starting to see pour through, that we're starting to see in social media has been amazing. And the messages that I've gotten from many of these riders, it's been incredible that although many of them don't know Sam personally, that he has touched their life in such a significant way. Really funny anecdote from the day that we were filming with the family, had this idea that we should get some of the riders to call him, and without him knowing. So I was over here conspiring with Beth of like, okay, we got to sneak their numbers into his phone so that when they call him, it says Jared Graves is FaceTiming him. And so needless to say, like, not only that, but we have to like have the timing line up and have the phone in front of him. And so we were to, whether or not it was a big secret or not, Beth got the numbers into his phone, and we were starting to film, and he was going around and showing the filmmakers, Joey and Wiley, his room, and he had everything planned out, and I had to find a sneaky way to get a hold of his phone. And we're sitting there, and the first phone call he got was from an athlete named our dog, Ryan Howard. And so I knew he was going to call at a certain time, so we had the phone in front, and I'm like, Sam, somebody's calling you. And he picks it up, and he's like, oh my God. I hope I did that impression right. And Jay's in the background being like, are you kidding me? And so they had a lovely conversation with our dog, and then later that afternoon, after we did a bunch of our interviews, and he talked a lot about how Jared Graves, a kind of a Yeti Cycles athlete for life, was really inspiring to him because Jared had his own battle with brain cancer a couple years ago, and it was really inspiring to Sam. And so calling all the way from Toowoomba, Australia, Jared Graves gave Sam a call, and after that call, Sam was like, if you guys have any more surprise, you're going to give me a heart attack. It was a really long day of filming, a ton of energy, and Sam did an incredible job, and we are so excited to share his story later this spring. So we are working on getting in all the content from all the athletes and to share this wide and far. So I'm sure we'll be able to keep everyone updated of when and where that is. But it's been an absolute honor and privilege to have become closer to Sam and the entire family throughout this. This has changed my life, and I'm looking forward to being able to share Sam's vision, and it's all Sam, and he'll continue to be kind of pushing his work through us. And thank you so much for being here and letting me ramble.
Hi there. I'm Bennett. I'm one of the many friends who made the trek from Durango many times to see Sam during this time in his life. I had the honor of getting to meet Sam his freshman year at Fort Lewis, and it was all of our freshman years, and it was just an interesting new experience for all of us, and I couldn't have asked for someone better to go through those first few months with at school. No matter the circumstances, the day, whatever was going on, I knew that Sam was going to be there with a smile on his face and some way to make the day better. And we would meet in the mornings at the stoplight, where you'd cross the road to go to the dining hall for breakfast, and that was one of the highlights of my day. Was Sam was usually there first and always with a smile on his face and ready to just go enjoy breakfast all together. When we heard the news, it was really hard at first to realize that one of the people who we'd grown so close with would be leaving, but I think all of us realized that it didn't really matter that he was so far away, because Sam was just so fun to be around that we would just drive the distance to go see him, because every time we got to see him, it was just a joy and a pleasure and such a privilege to be able to spend that time with him. And I couldn't be more grateful to have had that time spent with Sam, because even though it was hard and difficult circumstances for everyone to wrap their heads around, we all kept having the same conversation that it didn't matter that we'd only known Sam without this illness for 3 months. It didn't matter that he was going through some of the toughest stuff in his life, he was just a joy to be around and spend time with, and he made everyone's day brighter that he interacted with. Yeah, I'm so grateful for you guys as a family and for raising such an amazing son. He was truly, truly one of a kind. I'm beyond grateful to have had Sam in my life. Thank you guys.